When Bowers refused to testify, the defense attorney called Detective Reginald Green to the stand.
Detective Green, would you inform the court of your background?
I'm with the Porterville Police. Porterville's about 300 miles upstate.
You were present when the bailiff brought in the previous witness?
Mister, I ain't swearing or saying nothing. Yeah, I sure was.
Can you identify him?
Yes. 3 years ago, I arrested him in Porterville on a multiple rape charge. Here's a copy of his arrest record. I know Bruce Bowers anywhere.
Was Bowers convicted on that charge?
No. The judge let him walk. Said our lineup procedure was prejudicial. It was late. The guys couldn't find anybody with a beard. So Bowers was the only bearded guy in the line. And the victims had all reported the rapist as having a beard.
But Bowers was identified by the victims?
Yes. Unfortunately, there wasn't any physical evidence, just the positive IDs, and the judge threw them out because of a legal lineup procedure. We had him, he slipped away.
What brought you to our community?
Cop's job is to catch people like Bowers, not let them slip through the justice system. I kept an eye open for rape reports with his M.O. Finally, I heard about the Fox case.
What modus operandi were you looking for?
Guy with a beard, rape at knife point, usually in the victim's apartment. Method of entry, worked as a delivery man.
Bowers worked as a delivery man?
Ha! Papers call him the spring water rapist. Delivered bottled water during the day, taped the security door lock, came back at night.
Did Mrs. Fox's rape fit into this pattern?
Objection. Assumes facts not in evidence.
Yes, sustained. Rephrase your question, please.
All right, what did you think when you read the report on the rape of Mrs. Dolores Fox?
It sounded a lot like Bowers. Took a leave and offered my help. Checked all the delivery services in town. Bowers was working for a shipping service.
Did Mrs. Fox then identify Bowers as her assailant?
Huh. Yep. We put him in a lineup with all bearded men. She made a positive ID.
Thank you. You're a witness, Miss Todd.
Detective Green, to your knowledge, has Bruce Bowers confessed to the rape of Dolores Fox?
Nah, he's been through all this before. He knows enough to keep his lip zipped.
Well, since there's no confession, your version of how he might have entered the building is sheer speculation, isn't it?
I just described how he did it in Porterville. It's up to the local police to say how he did it here.
Thank you, Mr. Green. No further questions.
I call Edward Harland. Mr. Harland, you are a criminologist working in the police crime laboratory, are you not?
Yes, sir. Have been for 18 years.
And did you recently examine the security door at the Park Lilac?
Yes, I did. Detective Saunders wanted to know if tape had been used on the lock. The one on the door between the building and the garage.
Had tape been used on the lock?
I took some scrapings and I found a residue of a new adhesive polymer. That's the kind of glue that's used by just one manufacturer, Safe-Tite.
What product does the Safe-Tite company use this adhesive?
Strapping tape, the kind used to seal boxes for mailing and shipping.
And did you find this brand of strapping tape at the delivery service where Bruce Bowers worked?
Yes, I did. I took this partly used roll from the workroom there and ran a comparison.
And your findings?
Well, tape from this roll or a similar roll of Safe-Tite was placed on the lock of the security door of the Park Lilac. And on examining it, I found it strong enough to keep the lock from functioning properly.
Thank you. No further questions.
Mr. Harland, did you find Bruce Bowers' fingerprints on the security door?
No, ma'am.
When you examined the filament, were you able to determine when the tape had been placed on the door lock?
No, ma'am.
Well, then for all you know, that tape may have been placed there well before the night of the rape.
It's possible.
Or after the night of the rape. That's possible, too, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. I guess it is.
Well, is it or isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. No further questions.
I recall Mrs. Dolores Fox for cross-examination. Mrs. Fox, did you see the man who raped you enter through the laundry room window?
No, I didn't, but...
Did you see him in the laundry room?
No.
Well, then why do you believe that he entered in that way?
Because when I left the laundry room, I heard someone following me.
Excuse me, Mrs. Fox, wasn't your previous testimony, I thought I heard somebody following me?
No, I don't think so.
Request testimony read.
Mrs. Fox, I thought I heard footsteps, but when I turned around, no one was there.
Mrs. Fox, did you recently view a police lineup?
Yes.
And did you identify one of the men in the lineup as your assailant? Oh, come on now, Mrs. Fox. Come on. It's a simple yes or no question. Or is it more complicated than that? A positive identification of a rapist who used tape on locks would weaken your assertion that the rapist came through a laundry window, wouldn't it?
Objection, argumentative.
Yes, sustained. Strike counsel's remarks.
Well, then I return to my unanswered question. Was Bruce Bowers, the man in the lineup, the same man who raped you?
He didn't have a beard today. I'm not sure.
Really? What did you tell the police?
And I told the police that I thought it was Bowers, but now I'm not so sure.
What made you change your mind, Mrs. Fox? Was it the testimony that Bowers used tape on locks instead of crawling through open windows?
Objection. Counsel is harassing the witness.
Sustained.
No further questions.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Fox. You may step down. I'll hear closing statements, Miss Todd.
Yes, Your Honor. I want to try to correct the drift I see this hearing is taking. Counsel for the defense has brought in an accused rapist. He's confessed to nothing, been convicted of nothing. And yet, by implication and innuendo, his method of breaking into a building has been made to seem relevant to this trial. It is not. What is relevant is the testimony that has proved that Gerald Pinter, owner of the Park Lilac Apartments, did not provide the security his tenants were paying for and had a right to expect. What is relevant is the fear and the pain and humiliation suffered by Mrs. Dolores Fox when she was attacked and raped in her supposedly secure apartment building by a man who entered through whatever means. And what is relevant is the emotional pain she suffered when she lost the baby she was carrying.
Your Honor, it is a well-established principle that the plaintiff must bear the burden of proving negligence. They have failed to carry that burden in this case. They have not proved that the rapist came through the laundry room window with a broken lock. In fact, there is stronger evidence that he may have used another route. Lacking proof of negligence by the landlord, the plaintiff's claims for damages must be disallowed.
All right, thank you, counsel. We'll stand in recess while I consider the evidence.